Jimmy Beam and Bly, reaching highest where we reach, yo, as high as to the stars. Beats in the villain Jeep, vibrating other cars. Whose world is this? Yo, we say the world is ours. So we grow beards, no fear, photos so clear. Take another shot, so to speak, yeah, more beer. BV worldwide, put a fist to the sky. Cheers, cheers, New Year's, dope rhyme, good vibes. My crew speaks power, Chi-Town bleeds power. Knowledge, wisdom, and truth in the final hour. Respect, loyalty, family, charity speaks power. Bearded Villains, brotherhood speaks honor. Forwards and onwards, stay villain to the end. I will never shave again because my beard is not a trend. I represent excellence, leadership, and never follow. I'm a BBC member, yo, lieutenant of Chicago.
One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay villain. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay villain. It's BV, 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 it's BV. Yo, all I see.
Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the Bearded Villains Worldwide Brotherhood and the lives they are changing all over the world. You guys are just too good. Listen to all this applause. I appreciate it. Oh, no, come on. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for being here, everybody. It really means a lot. We are on episode 60. Okay, let's quiet down now. Quiet down. That's right. Appreciate that. We are on episode 66, guys. 66. Very cool stuff. And, man, this is going to be a fun one. And I appreciate you, those of you who are here, who have hung out just to, hung out here, chit-chat in the chat forum there while I waited to come on. You'll find out why in just a few minutes. I did an interview that came around kind of late tonight. I was finally able to get a hold of somebody. I was trying. It goes along really well with this week. And the interview guest for this week, of course, I'll mention that right now. The main interview guest for this week, we're talking about from David Ramsey from the Bearded Villains, Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains. They had a great event this past weekend, their 3rd year anniversary party and beard competition, and raised some money. But I also wanted to try and get on the podcast the founder of the organization that the monies are going to. It's a veterans organization that does some really cool stuff called Battle 22. So I was able to late this evening to get an interview with Chad Hubble, the founder, and that's the reason for the delay. I thought it was more important to get that, so we had a complete interview set revolving around the event and then the actual organization that's going to be benefited from the event proceeds. So I do appreciate you guys for hanging out, talking amongst each other while I waited to get everything processed through and get all that interview stuff out of the way. We are on, as I said, episode 66. I love that number, 66, not only because last name is Phillips and 66, and it kind of always one of those things, but the weird thing is that that the number 66 ended up, ironically, being my first badge number when I got hired on the police department all those years ago. It was kind of funny as it just kind of randomly worked out. It wasn't that they tried to give it to me because it was fitting. I was one of 3 officers that were hired at that time, and they were hiring up numbers 65, 66, and 67 alphabetically. I fit in the middle between those two. It just so happens that fate said I was going to be Philip 66. So it worked out really well. And I've always loved that number ever since. So we are on episode 66. This is a fun one, guys. The Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains, as you will find out, have just blown us all away again. They're setting a standard for blowing us all away with their charity efforts. And not only them, but everybody that responds, everybody that, steps out and helps out at one of their events. So it's becoming a great thing to see. So I always love to see that. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk to David Ramsey from Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains, and then also Chad Hubble from Battle 22. Some good stuff there, guys. Some good stuff. If this is your first time here on the live stream on YouTube, Thank you guys so much for being here. I will say that if it is your first time, why don't you click over there on that little subscribe button so you subscribe to all the good stuff here on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. Got some fun stuff coming down the pike here, down the road, a little ways, but you won't want to miss it, and it'll alert you if you hit that little bell thingy and all the good stuff. If you are listening on a normal podcast platform like so many of you have been doing, thank you very much. I want to say this week we hit kind of I think a milestone for a very small podcast like mine here. We reached 10,000 downloads, so that was kind of cool to see. Some of the larger podcasts get 10,000 downloads a day, the ones with all the celebrities and all the money behind them. But the little engine that could, the little podcast that some said may not be here months later, here we are well over a year later with over 10,000 downloads, and I'm excited. I'm excited about the growth. I'm excited that you guys have stuck with me, have stayed here, and are still getting value out of this podcast, and especially out of this live stream that we've incorporated. So over the coming weeks, months in this year, I'm going to be doing a few different little things, trying out a few different segments within the podcast to see if they work, see if people like them, just to kind of shake things up a little bit and see what the world can bring us. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is on a regular basis toward the end of each podcast now, because it was very well received when we did it last week, and it's been very well received when we've done it before. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the podcast to phone calls. And I would like for people, as a general rule, to let me know in advance if they want to call in. That way I can plan for it. And I'm not just sitting there babbling on, waiting for somebody who may or may not call in. But I would like for there to be a small segment where people can call in and talk for a couple minutes each time and give a little shout out to somebody who is doing something really cool. Give a shout out to a chapter brother, to a significant other, to a specific chapter. If you have something going on in your chapter and you just want to share it with the world, we can set it up a time and you can give a call. And those calls will be audio only, so you don't have to worry about how you look. And we'll set that up through line. So there will be a time later on. If you want to call in, give somebody a shout out tonight, by all means, during the podcast, send me a message online, the Line app, capital Line. And you can find me. Let's see if it still works. You can find me there. That's my Line app name. Write that thing down. The Bearded BP with a little microphone thing on there. Send me a message and let me know that you'd like to do a quick shout out for something, or give somebody a little shout out, or you want to discuss something real quick. And I'll make sure. Yeah, that's something like that. I'll make sure I reach out and set that up with you here in advance during the portion of the interview portion of the live stream tonight, while the interviews are going on, and we can talk, or we can get that set up, and you can do a phone call before the night's over on this live stream. If you want to do it in the future, by all means, we'll set that up as well. So, again, we are on episode 66. I'm going to give a quick shout out to those of you who have been patient enough and are set up, hanging out with us here on the live stream. As I mess with my microphone boom arm here, it's making all sorts of crazy noises. All right. As always seems to be the case, unless something crazy happens in the space-time continuum, Rob is the first one to chime in with us and visit. He was here early, only to find out that I was going to respond to him and say, we're going to be delayed. So, Rob, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and good morning, and all that stuff. It should be the other way around for you, afternoon, evening, good morning. But very cool to see you. Kelly's here, Sharissa's here. We know what that means. That means Jay's here too. He was a late arrival, but we'll take it. We won't hammer him too hard. Hillbilly's in the house. Thanks, Hillbilly, for being here. I know that there's a bunch of people on here that have not commented that are live viewing with us. So those of you who are not commenting, that's great. If you don't want to make yourself known, that's by all means hang out. chit chat with us and just listen to us talk, listen to us ramble on, and we'll go from there. Brent's here too. How you doing, Brent, buddy? Hope things are all great down in southern Indiana. All right. So, guys, I'm going to slide this thing along here and let you know. The Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains did a really cool thing this weekend. And I said Brent is here. The Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains did a really cool thing this week with their 3-year anniversary event. And I was really hoping to get down there for it. And, well, you know, COVID. So it was just one of those things I couldn't do. So, but the pictures were amazing. Looked like a great time. They had a really, really good turnout, it looked like. And David's going to tell you a little bit about the turnout and the event itself and how much money these guys, I'm telling you what, these guys continue to do incredible things. Now, I will preface it with this. It's their event for sure. But every single one of those people that came, and there were well over 100 that came to this event this weekend down there, you guys are the ones that make this event and made this possible with this donation, because the amount of money raised again was staggering for one event. Staggering. And everybody that was there, everybody that was there to participate, everybody that was there as a viewer and observer, all of you guys made this happen and made it such the great event that it was. So congratulations to all of you guys. Congratulations to Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains. I'm going to play my interview with David now, and just check it out, man. It's staggering stuff, guys. I'm speaking with the captain of the Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains, David Ramsey. Dave is here to talk to us a little bit today about an event they had this past weekend, celebrating their 3-year anniversary. And man, they raised a bunch of money again. And as it's becoming commonplace for these guys, I don't know what they're going to do in the future. But Dave, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I was so bummed that I wasn't able to make it down for this thing this week. I was really looking forward to it. But tell everybody who's not familiar, what happened this weekend? Tell us about your event and the celebration that it was, man.
We had our 3-year anniversary in Chattanooga this weekend. We did it for Battle 22. They're a veterans. He is a veteran suicide prevention nonprofit out of Mississippi. And we had a big show, had a big group come out, had 18 different chapters plus multiple queens and villainettes. We had 14 chapters bring 3+ members. Had our meet and greet at Civil Axe here in Chattanooga. So everybody got to drink beer and throw axes, had a good time. Then we did our event actually it's a old school arcade. And it's called Level Up. But yeah, we had a good time, raised a lot of money.
So you guys organized it. It was actually a beard competition for the main part of the event. But you've also in preparation for the 30th anniversary party that you had this weekend, you did some other things as far as raising some monies versus, with some sales as well. What all did you have going as far as that goes?
We had a pre-order on our event shirts, our normal anniversary Villain Step Up shirts, and we did our Villain Step Up patches. We ended up, between the event and the merch sales, we ended up with $8,500 raised for the weekend, which will go a long way, because with Chad's charity, most of his stuff is donated to him. He's just got to pay for food and travel to get everybody out to the he does like hunting trips and stuff like that for veterans that can't afford it.
Wow. Very cool stuff. So the shirts then and the patches, now I assume, because they were really hot commodities, is everything, because people will be listening to this wondering, is there any way people can still get their hands on stuff, or are we talking secondary, third market now at this point? You'll have to, beg, borrow, and steal and swap with other people to get some of those?
Unfortunately, we actually just turned it. So we did our 2-year anniversary, and we ordered extra shirts, and we got stuck with extra shirts until Knox Villains last year. So we're just doing pre-orders. But we decided this year that we'd open the pre-order back up at the event.
Okay.
That way, anybody that missed it or anything like that could still get one. So they did. I think we did. I think it was 43 more shirts from the event that have been pre-ordered that we actually paid for tonight. That Jeremiah from BB Kentucky will be printing soon and getting to us to where we can get them out to everybody that ordered them.
Jeez. Okay. And patches, are the patches already gone?
I think there's 4 left on the website.
Okay. Well, by the time people hear this, we'll have to see. I'll have to double check here. We're doing this a little bit before the live stream of the podcast, so I'll find out. And at the time when I'm doing this live, I will make sure I mention whether they're all gone. I'm assuming that those 4 will be spoken for by that time, for sure.
I hope they're.
Yeah. It's always good to close everything out, close the book on one event, and then just be able to move right on to something else. But how cool is that, man? So, I mean, you guys kind of are setting some serious records here with some of the events that you're doing. Just as a quick reminder, last year, what happened? You had an event last year.
Knox Villains 2020 was, I think we raised 10,100. I believe it was. It was something along those lines. My wife knows she keeps up with all that crap. I don't. I just remember we got over 10,
But
and that tickled me.
Yeah, it was over $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when?
That was June of 2020,
Wow.
which we've already set up. Knox Villains for this year will be June 12th. It'll be at the same place. We've already got the venue secured. Everything's ready to go for that. So hopefully we'll have another big turnout this year. Everybody seemed to enjoy that.
So breaking news. We'll get that on our calendar of events too. Knox Villains for 2021 is, remind us again the date.
June 12th.
All right, June 12th. So you guys are, wow. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, and math was one of my worst subjects. But adding things up, that's in less than 6-8 months, and definitely in less than a year, your chapter and the events from your chapter have raised well over $20,000, because people are doing that math right now and they're like, that doesn't quite add up. But after the event, you did in the chat room, you did a little one-off kind of a last-minute auction thing just to kind of purge everything out and round some money up. Tell everybody about that little auction that just kind of happened about and what happened with that.
So I had the bright idea that whenever I bought my chapter ring, I bought a silver and an alpaca silver. So we're always getting asked about our chapter ring. So I was like, you know what? We were with shirt and patch sales, I think we were right at 9,300, I believe. So I was like, let's see what it'll bring. Well, then, of course, BV being the family that they are, everybody started donating other items to auction off, and we ended up at a little over 11,000 by the time it was all said and done.
So amazing.
Blew my mind. I mean, the stuff that happened last night in the chat rooms, the reason I got in this, we all have the same goal. We all want to do good. I mean, show people that we're all trying to do good. The world's so messed up right now. I mean, just seeing stuff like that just renews your faith in humans.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I said, I told you off air, I didn't get a chance to see it as it was happening. I didn't see it till the next morning, but I went back and scrolled through there, and so, it's one of those things, something happened when you normally don't, if there's a chat room that you don't go to, but maybe once a day, and you have maybe somewhere between 50 and 150 messages to catch up on. But I looked, and this one was well over, 900 to 1,000 messages I'd missed in a 24-hour period. And I was like, less than 24 hours, and I was like, okay, something happened. So I started scrolling through there and realized, holy cow, there was this nice little auction that took place, and so cool, so cool. So I mean, very, very generous of you to think ahead to do that, and that's not many people. I mean, is your ring's pretty? I mean, there's not a whole lot of people outside your chapter that have one, do they?
We sold a few out of chapter. Just I think we offered 10 of them outside of the chapter just to kind of get the price down on everybody whenever we ordered them.
Okay.
I mean, our chapter is fairly big. I think we've got between supporters and members, I think we're at like 47 right now.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it's out of control.
It's out of control, he says. We need to put some people back on probation.
But so we offered about 10 of them, I think it was, outside of the chapter. So I think everybody loves our new logo.
It's very cool.
And well, they seem to like our new logo anyway. But I mean, we were constantly getting asked about the ring, so I was like, why not? And then Threeper, he offered up some Rocket City stuff, which Rocket City actually won the Gnome, and they'll be hosting an event for the traveling gnome or the roaming gnome.
Yeah, they're kind of suckered into it now. They win that event, they win that prize. Now, too bad if you weren't planning on hosting an event, you got to now.
Mm-hmm. And then actually, Big Ben's Beardsmen that were in that Southern Indiana's event.
Okay.
They showed up with 6 guys in a Whiskerina.
Wow.
I was impressed because I mean they're not BB, and they came out and supported. They showed up pretty big. They're a great bunch of guys. We had Mark Burns, that was the 2019 styled mustache full beard world champion. He was one of our judges. That guy's freaking amazing.
He's good, dude. Good dude.
Our little auction last night. Threeper I was cussing Threeper and Radar and Nikki because they kept adding stuff. And I'm like, I just want to go to bed. They're just also amazing, man. Yeah, like I said, I try to make our chapter seem like a family, and I want it to be viewed as a family. We take our kids to everything. Everything we do is family friendly. Yes, there's alcohol drink. Yes, there's fun had, but nobody acts stupid. This is a big family, and the things we do for each other is amazing. I mean, take a little silly piece of cloth, and all of a sudden somebody's going to give $500 for it, and then give it away to a brother.
Yeah. That's one of those generosity things that always strikes me is, when somebody it's almost like I just want to be the one that helps donate money. I don't need the tangible product itself. And that happens so often in these chats and I noticed it did again last night where, somebody wins it and then says, you know what, give it to so-and-so. And, and it's a one-off item in many cases, or at least, a very, very few handful of them that are out there. And for some of these cases, it seems like, people will collect, items. And I've had this conversation, with several of our brothers before who really get into the collecting aspect of it. And it's not so much collecting patches and items for themselves. I'm collecting so that I can help donate down the road. It's a continual pass it on thing. And it's such a cool thing because it's, we could be spending our money on so many other things, but this brotherhood, this family that we have, like you guys witnessed time and time again now, it's so cool that people are just willingly just donate to the organizations and the chapters that need it.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. All right, man. So we're over $20,000 in the last 2. I don't know what you're going to do to top it. I know you didn't even plan on trying to get that amount for this time. You just wanted to, to get somewhere close to it. But so cool, man. And I'm excited.
Honestly, with this event, I was just happy we were able to have it, man. It's with the COVID and everything, we need this family time. I mean, it's rough on everybody, but it's nice. You get out one night and you're able to forget about it for a little bit and just enjoy yourself and see people you haven't seen in forever. Kraken and Frankie came down from Nova. It's Kraken's first event outside of chapter stuff since Rogue. That dude's amazing. We had Scrappy and Ian and Grape Soda Mike came up from North Texas. Johnny Hammersticks came down from New York, New Jersey.
Oh,
it's it's crazy to me that people are traveling to come hang out.
And traveling, mind you, when it's not easy to travel right now, it's not. I mean, it's things aren't super comfy right now to be able to try and do that. So that's really cool. That's awesome. Such a great. Oh man, I knew that there would be a great turnout just from monitoring the chat room and everything else and seeing and. But you guys have actually kind of pulled off a kind of a unique feat here too, because at a time where so many other chapters have had to cancel things, you guys have successfully now hosted 2 events in the pandemic for this pandemic time period. I'm not sure how you've been able to do it, but you have. So very, very cool stuff, man. I'm excited about that. That's proof's in the pudding, man. You can do it. Put your mind to it.
Yeah. We were a little worried about the different, which we followed all the guidelines and everything as far as what the state was mandating, which the last mandate they put out was silly. It was basically limiting how many people you could have at your house for a Christmas event.
Yeah.
High school sporting events, and they actually made our event a private event to where it didn't even affect us, which was lucky for us. And the main thing is it's funny because venues are more than willing to host you. They want like $4 or $5 grand guarantees that you're going to buy $4 or $5 grand worth of food and alcohol to even consider it. And we looked into Level Up. We went in and talked with her, and she was like, "Yeah, we'll do it." And everybody loved the venue. They kept going on about the venue, so at least I know we're on Chattanooga events from now on.
Yeah, you got to remember that when somebody steps up to help you out like that and opens their arms to you, you got to remember those people for sure. That's so cool, brother. I am I'm stoked for what you guys have been able to do, and I know that Battle 22 is right. That's the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool stuff. I'm going to try and sneak a little interview with Chad from Battle 22 also, and if I can't, I'm definitely going to give a little bit of a promo together here for the live stream to talk a little bit about what Battle 22 is all about and what their mission is for sure. Because helping veterans is right up there with everything else that so many of our chapters do. So many, such a cool organization. I read a bit about them. So,
and I mean that dude. If you read his story, he's had every reason in the world to give up. That man just keeps fighting, man. He's been through a lot of stuff through his life. And he's still right there wanting to help other people. Yeah. He was at the meet and greet and the event, just hung out and kind of fit right in with us. Will probably end up joining North Mississippi soon.
Wow. That's very cool. Man, I'm still bummed. I couldn't make it. I'm still bummed. One of these days, I it's been so long since I've really been able to. I mean, I was able to make the Battle of Beards in Southern Indiana this year, but the timing and everything else with the COVID and everything else that hit, timing was terrible for me. I was planning on it, but well, I know I'm going to see you again before too long in the coming months because we've got some other events that are going to be hopping off. So I'm sure I'll see you at some of those. But keep up the great work, man. The growth that your chapter's had, I know it's a little overwhelming when you think about how quickly it's happened, but you know, I think it says, as I've said before, to it seems like, you know, 2 or 3 times a year I say this, but it speaks volumes to the chapter and the way that you're leading things, that you guys are taking a hold in the area and representing what BV's about, and people want to be a part of it. So I think that the growth right there speaks volumes for what you're doing. So keep it up, man.
I don't know. It's just hard to believe what we've been able to do in the past 7 months. It blows my mind.
Yeah, you got to kind of pinch yourself when you realize, I mean, you know, the lives that you're helping to change, that you're, you know, even in some small ways to the big ways, you're doing some amazing things. These organizations that you're donating to are life-changing. So I'm proud of you. Proud to know you, man. Proud to call you brother. Just keep it up, man, and I'll see you soon.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Take care, buddy.
See ya.
All right, guys. David Ramsey, the captain of the Bearded Villains down there. Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains, taking their reins and leading by example. Man, so cool. In 3 years, they have grown so much and have really made a huge imprint on their community. And wow, you just got to raise your hands to them, and very, very cool stuff. Absolutely. So as I mentioned in the interview there, that I wanted to try and have a chat with Chad, the founder of Battle 22, and I was able to do that. That interview is coming up here in just a second. I want to preface it with a couple things for you guys. One is the video feed on this interview is a little janky. It's a little Max Headroom, if you remember Max Headroom from the 80s, which is funny because a lot of times when there's specific internet issues, you'll see somebody doing the zigzag stop and go video, and their video will lag, but their audio will as well. In this case, the audio kept going through just fine. So it was perfect because we're a podcast first and foremost here. The Heart of a Villain is a podcast, so the audio comes through just great. But those of you watching live are going to see a little bit of some sort of weird video sometimes in stop and go video footage on this interview. But what I want you to focus on is where he came from, what this thing's about, what Battle 22 is about, what Battle 22's mission is, and how interesting it is that he's taken his likes and he's been able to find this way to translate what the soldiers feel. The camaraderie, yes, but not only that, but that sense of need, the sense of self. And he's been able to incorporate that, drive it home in this new organization that he created in Battle 22. Now, I will say this. I'm not gonna read you this whole thing, but I want to encourage you guys. If you are listening now or if you're watching live, jot this down. Battle 22, the number 22.com. BATTLE 22, the number 22.com. When you go out to that website, there's a segment there that's one of the tabs it says My Story. And I want you to read Chad's story, because if that doesn't hit home with you and make you realize how you can push through even in your darkest times, it should inspire you. His story should inspire you. And then take into account what he's doing after his story. His story has a lot of stuff in it, and many, many times he could have given up. And as you read through, he served 19 years in the Army. He was medically retired. 2 combat deployments in Iraq, 1 to Afghanistan as a counter improvised explosive device non-commissioned officer. Wow. One of the most dangerous jobs you could have, I believe, out there. I don't know that for a fact, but I can only imagine. Then he went through some family stuff. After he went through some personal stuff, you got to read this guy's story. It will really hit home with you. And he leaves his story with saying, life has been tough for me, no doubt, but I won't give up. My family needs me. My kids need me. My battle buddies need me. Most of all, I need them. I need you. Wow. Guys, Chad's an amazing guy. Can't wait to one day meet him, and I will. I want to, absolutely. Such a cool story. Cool, not in the cool way, but in a redemption way, a way of transferring your purpose from one thing in life that you didn't think would be to one thing else. Finding a way. The other thing I want to say about this interview, guys, as you listen through it, it gave me chills. I know that I'm not the first person to say the words, it's okay not to be okay. I'd heard it 1 or 2 times before, before I started saying it on the podcast. And as all things are, it just becomes kind of a passing fancy and you hear about it or whatever until it touches you. And as it has all of us. And so you will hear Chad in this interview. Toward the end, he talks about that phrase. And I never said it to him. I never mentioned it to him. He never knew that was something that was said and ended every podcast with us here. This is a good one. His story. We didn't talk too long, but it was a well worth my time, his time, to get the word out on what Battle 22 is. Like I said, get out there and when you get a chance, check out battle22.com. Here's my interview with Chad, the founder of Battle 22. I have a very special guest with me tonight. I'm speaking with Chad Hubble. He is the founder of Battle 22, an amazing organization. I read a little bit about this organization, but this veteran organization is such a cool thing. I want you guys to hear a little bit about what this organization does. Now, the Smoky Mountain Bearded Villain chapter, they just recently had a 3-year anniversary event, and the proceeds from that are going to Battle 22. So I'm going to bring in Chad here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what Battle 22 is all about. Chad, welcome to the show, man.
Good evening, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Again, thanks so much for finding some time for me. Can you tell the listeners here what is Battle 22 and what made you want to found it?
Battle 22 is an organization to help end, curb, stop the suicide rate in our veteran community. I did 3 combat deployments, and I've come back, and a lot of guys have never came back physically. Or they came back physically, but they never come back mentally. My bad. And on my last trip, when I came home from Afghanistan in 2011, I lost one of my personal friends, a brother, to his demons. He didn't actually kill himself, but it was suicide by a cop. He could just never get back home. And there's so many men and women that are the same. They get lost in their head. They can't find their way home. And at that point, I decided I wanted to do something to help. And all the things I do, because I myself was medically retired from my combat injuries and PTSD and TBI. And the outdoors is what I love doing for therapy. And so now that's what I do, is I use the outdoors and camaraderie to get guys together and build a safety net guys and girls. I was in combat in the West, so I always say guys. I'm not sexist. It just happens.
Right.
I just wanted to get them together because we had this camaraderie overseas where we died for each other. We had this brotherhood, this sisterhood that no matter what, I got your six. But there's a disconnect when we come home and we lose each other. Either you PCS or you get out, or you're guard or reserve. You don't have that mental health capacity like you do on base. And so I started Battle 22 because using outdoor therapy, hunting, fishing, hiking, all these outdoor stuff, because a lot of it's team building too, and you don't even know it. And a lot of it's therapeutic, and you don't even know it. When you're around like-minded individuals, you start letting your guard down, and you just start talking to each other. And battle stands for a lot of things. Actually, it took me quite a while to think of it because I wanted something unique and different. Battle, when you go to basic training or AIT, you always have a battle buddy. So you're like, hey, battle, you going with me? Drill sergeant or your NCO in charge says you have to have your battle with you. So that's one aspect of it. You always have your battle. Battle also means to combat, to end, the suicide rate, to battle it. It also stands for band arms together through life's experiences, because like-minded individuals, we walk the walk. We know each other, how we're feeling, and we trust each other. So that was the whole gist of it, to build a community, kind of like instead of a family readiness group, like a veteran readiness group outside the military. And every day, like I said, it's my purpose to get up every day and help others. And that's what keeps me going as well. Because like I said, I struggle every day.
Yeah. So Battle 22, where does the 22 come in then? Just remind us about that as well.
Well, it's around 22. They say between 20 to 22 is the actual number of suicides a day in the veteran community. But they said since COVID, it's even up 20%. So,
yeah.
And there's another part of that too. Another 30 plus, I say around 30, die from opioid overdoses every day. So,
wow, it's amazing. I've said for years that, it's easy for somebody that's never served, especially in a wartime situation like you've been in, and it's not served in that capacity to speak on things and say, well, must have been rough, or I can't imagine, or talk to the ideas of, there is a absolute disservice done to our troops when they come back and things aren't done. But it's so important for those that do come back and have that leadership that say, hey, I want to do something for us and stand up. And rather than, stand back and just kind of watch from the cheap seats, you're doing something, you're pushing to help, make a difference because you've been there, done that. And those are the people that can speak to it. So that's amazing. That's amazing. So what are you able to do then with you say the outdoor activities? What types of things do you do through Battle 22? Is it just, you organize outdoor activities and events, or is some of it just kind of just very impromptu? We go out and do stuff.
It's very impromptu. I mean, it's anything from that, getting guys together around a table, eating dinner somewhere, talking, movies. I do a lot of off-roading. I got a side-by-side. I take guys riding all the time, get them out with other people and connect in the community. We take people trout fishing. Guys I served with run another nonprofit up in northern Arkansas called Warriors on the Fly. We link together and partner with those. I take people hog hunting, deer hunting, just anything and everything to build purpose back in the soldier's life. And to hit back on, you're talking about the leadership aspect of it. I'm real big on TikTok. I don't know why I love TikTok. It's fun. But there's a lot of big Army guys on there, like command sergeant majors, first sergeants, and colonels that are also preaching the same message. The whole message is okay not to be okay. It's okay to seek mental health. Because a lot of time the stigma in the military community is if I seek health, it's going to ruin my career. You won't get that NCOS school. You won't get your jump schools and all this because they're going to give somebody else that's better fits for the job, So we're trying to open up the avenues to get people talking and let everybody know it's okay not to be okay. Some of these guys and girls And it doesn't have to be combat related either. That's where I'm different with a lot of these big organizations. I don't care if you went to combat or not. People have trauma all different ways in the military, because the military mindset, you train so much all the time to the reality of things. It's hard to explain. They say you train every day in the military like it's real. So when you get in that environment, it just clicks. So some of these people, you're in a high tempo MOS or high tempo deployment, even if it's not overseas, there might be somewhere else, where you're doing other stuff. You're always doing stuff that the normal person wouldn't do, and your body's subjected to things that most people aren't subjected to. And then there's other traumas too, like people being raped or abused, or just psychological or physical. There's all kind of stressors that cause problems, and I'm open to all these people. Like I said, I don't care if you're active, reserve, guard. It doesn't matter. We're all the same. We all wore the same uniform.
Yeah. Damn, man. That's incredible. That's incredible. I'm so glad the listeners of this podcast are really going to love the fact that you said that very phrase, "It's okay not to be okay," because that's something that I end every single podcast saying, to remind everybody that it's okay not to be okay. And that's amazing. That's so cool and it does. It takes, as one of our other listeners likes to say, you need to start that awkward conversation, and it needs to, the stigma needs to be lifted from that. It doesn't mean that person's no longer qualified, that person can't do that job. So that's incredible that you're doing that.
Like I said, there's all kind of things. My biggest thing when I got out, I was medically retired after a total of almost 19 years, 18 years, 8 months. The hardest thing was to hang up that uniform. I mean, you feel like you're losing your brothers and sisters, or that camaraderie, or that. Military men and women have the most hardest time trusting civilians because they don't click like we do. And I'm not taking away from nobody, but saying, if you called me at 3:00 in the morning, I'm going to answer the phone, because I don't know if I'm ever going to get another call from you or not. Yeah. And we have a hard time with our civilian friends. I call most of them acquaintances, because they don't understand that urgency of need like we have. And we've got to find a way to bridge that gap too, because there's a disconnect there as well. We got to get a better understanding of each other on both sides of the fence.
Wow. I've never heard it put that way. That's great. That was very well said. I think that is something that's something that can be explained very easily to everybody else, saying, listen, reach out to your military, those that have served in the military. And if they're calling you at 2 a.m., they're calling you at 2 a.m. for a reason. If they reach out to you, and it takes a certain strength just to make that call. It doesn't matter what time of day. So it needs to be taken seriously right then and there, not, hey, can I give you a call back tomorrow? Because that may not be an option.
That's what we're running into with like the medical side of it. Like the VA is so backed up. I mean, sometimes your appointment's 2, 3, 4 months, even for mental health. I mean, so that's right now, the veteran community, we've got this whole thing going on all social media, veterans helping veterans, because like I said, it's just, we have common ground and we trust each other. A lot of guys and girls are afraid to go to mental health on the civilian side because they don't be judged and persecuted by somebody that's never done what they've done. It's hard. That's like, I mean, it's like going to church and getting cussed at. You're not doing right, but you're supposed to be there to be consoled, not to be scolded. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just, there's a lot that's in it, but the whole thing we're trying to do is build a team in the veteran community where you have that safety net, to where, I quote another guy on social media that I like. He says, you never go upstairs alone. You've built relationships within the community to where you're in that dark spot. You've got somebody to call, so you're not in your head alone. You can say, hey, man, I was with you at this event. I really clicked with you. You got some time to talk. I felt like we got along good, and it usually works out like that, because it's just, being in your head alone as a veteran is a very dark spot.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from very many people that have been through that. Well, Chad, the monies that you're going to be getting from this event, man, what are they going to be able to do? Just to kind of clarify for some of our listeners, the impact that the monies that were collected from everybody that was at this event this weekend, what are the monies going to be able to help you do with Battle 22?
It'll better help us get more guys and girls into the woods. Like I said, we're supposed to have a big event coming up next month with Tyler Farr's helping us with. It's a Medina Expo. It's a big thing, the February 4th through the 7th, and we're hoping to get more people on board then as well. But it'll get more guys and girls out fishing. We'll be able to do some more trips, camping, hunting, hiking. It's just putting more people together, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah, man, Chad, it's an incredible mission that you have, and that's what it is now. It's a different mission and a different scope at a different time and a different place in the world, but it's still a mission for you. And
well, that's where a lot of guys and girls fall apart too. When they get home, they have no purpose, no drive, nothing. Like say, most of us, I got retired at the age of 37. Fully retired, so I could sit at home and do absolutely nothing and go stir crazy and just wonder the if, ands, are, whys, and all this. But I chose to try and do something that fits back into the category of the military and gives myself purpose every morning, gives myself a reason to get up, gives myself a reason to live. And in turn, it just compounds and it just keeps going and it snowballs. These other people see it. And plus, if you read my story on my website with all I've been through, some people think I'm just crazy as it is for just still being here and putting left foot in front of the right,
Yeah. Well, like I said, Chad, man, I first of all, I mean, I thank you so much for your service. I know you probably don't. People say that to you a lot, and you just kind of brush it off. If you're like every other person that's served, like I know, you just okay, thank you, I appreciate it. But truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your service. It's not for everybody, and those that make that choice and accept that challenge are something special. So thank you so much for your service. Thanks for what you're doing for our veterans that have come home, and in honor of those that didn't as well. So thanks so much for all that, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Chad, I'm going to be putting out links for the podcast. Anybody that wants to help out, if they're in your area, obviously, but heck, this is for veterans. We don't need to necessarily be in your area. If you want to help donate, we're going to be able to, I'm going to share links so people can reach out to you, to your organization, to Battle 22, if they want to help out for sure.
Yeah, I got the only link I got that it's on my website, battle22.com. It's got my PayPal giving fund link where you can get tax-free donations that way.
Awesome. That's definitely something we need to do.
Or buy my merchandise. I got a bunch of merchandise online too.
Awesome. I love it, man. I'm going to be reaching out, man, for sure. Thanks so much, Chad. I appreciate you taking some time with me, man, to kind of tell everybody about Battle 22. What'd you say?
I want to say one thing. I really respect the Bearded Villain community as well. Going up there to the Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains, they reached out to me because I befriended Ronnie McNutt. Ronnie McNutt's the one that took his life on, or took his own life on social media. It was viral around the world. Me and his brother was the ones that went up there to Chattanooga, and they made us feel like home. It almost felt just like the military, and Ronnie was military, and his brother Joey's also military, and they made us feel welcome. It seemed just like the military atmosphere, like everybody was there, the camaraderie was there. It was a great place, and I'm going to encourage more people to join because it seems like a good place to be.
Yeah, Bearded Villains is an amazing, man. It's amazing. I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much, Chad, for all your time, and keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing amazing things.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Wow. Guys, Chad Hubble, thank you so much for taking some time with me to educate everybody about what Bearded Villains was able to do to help you out with Battle 22. Again, I'm going to say that, guys. Read his story, battle22.com. Read his story. I love the way he ends his story. But I won't give up. My family needs me. My kids need me. My battle buddies need me. But most of all, I need them. I need you. So well put. So well put. So I'm excited to see what this organization is going to do moving forward. We definitely need to keep our eyes on that. Battle22.com. If you have any means necessary, if you can spare a couple dollars, then absolutely try and reach out and see if you can help out. See if there's other ways that you might be able to volunteer. I don't know. I didn't ask him specifically about that. The other thing I do want to touch on real quick is mention that the patches that he said were almost sold out, that David said were almost sold out. They, as of my interview with him, and actually as of earlier today, there was still one or two still available. I know one of our brothers here on the live stream said that he picked one up, but so maybe there's three, maybe there's only two. I don't know. But if you didn't get a patch, run out there real quick, Smoky Mountain Bearded Villains, and hit them up. See if there's still a patch on their site available. And who knows? Maybe you can grab one of those. Who knows? Maybe you'll fall under the radar there and be able to get one before they're gone. But as I said, as David said during the interview, there's only 4 left. So as of yesterday, I'm sorry, as of today. So there were still 4 left. But very cool stuff, guys. Just very humbling. And I love the words that he talked about when he talked about the transition and how, this organization is able to, make some sort of a correlation to their past experiences. And, I'm always talking about how I'm really concerned about within the Bearded Villain community. It's okay not to be okay, and to make sure that we push that agenda out there to make sure people realize that. But one of the things that, he had spoken about there was that, they too carry that same thing as well. But what I didn't realize is that it's actually a big deal that sometimes those that have come home, those that have served, and those that have struggled with some issues, if they reach out, they're hesitant sometimes to reach out to their non-military friends or associates because they may be looked at differently, or it may not be realized as a real thing. And I think it's really important for us to think about that. Anytime somebody reaches out to you and sounds like they need to talk, we need to make sure that we are extremely, extremely available to them. 2:00 in the morning, I'm not going to be the one that says, "Hey, buddy, bad time. I need to catch some sleep. Can you call me back tomorrow?" Because there may not be a tomorrow. And you know what the struggle is for somebody to have the strength just to make that call. And if you're the one person that they reached out to, be so grateful that you are. Be so grateful that you are. Well, the new segment, guys, that we have set up, I'm waiting to see if a certain person is going to call in to give us a little bit of a phone call. They wanted to reach out, give some props, some thanks and whatnot. This is the new segment of the podcast where we're going to reach out, open things up, and let you guys, the caller, call in. And when you get a chance, by all means, if you're online, you want to call in, and we're gonna take it from there. And I believe we have somebody here now. Kelly, are you there? Hello? Kelly? Is this Kelly? Are you here? Well, that didn't work out. She tried to call in. We'll try this again here. Kelly, are you there? Well, that's not working out like we hoped. Hang on a second. Oh. Okay, Kelly, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there we go. Apparently,
I had stuff on in the background. I didn't realize I had it in the background, so that was my fault.
Oh, that's okay. I'm speaking with Kelly, otherwise known as Pasty White Girl on the IG, if you know her. Kelly, I know you wanted to call in tonight and talk about something, and I'm just going to let you have the floor and say what you needed to say. Go ahead.
Okay. I appreciate it. Well, I want to say you're awesome. Thank you for doing what you do.
Oh.
I think you're pretty amazing. So, but yeah, there's like 5 people I got to shout out to. One being my husband, Brent. He, during everything I've been through, I mean, today I had a really bad day, had a real bad migraine, and he's checked on me so many times today. And I don't know, it's just like, it kind of got me today, but, he's an amazing person. And he's worked so hard, and you know how he is in the beginning. He was quiet, shy, and I mean, he's still that way, but not as much. And I'm proud of the progress he's made. And he surprises me every day with it. And then, him supporting me in the villainette journey, that means so much to me. Because in the beginning, I thought this whole bearded villain thing was kind of crazy. I'm like, all these bearded guys, what is going on? I'm like, so I was joking around with him a lot about it, gave him kind of, grief about it. But then, more and more I got into it, seeing what he was doing and what you all were doing, it made me interested. And I got more attached to it. Hence why I'm in the phone.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do me a favor. Hold your phone away from you just a little bit because it's muffling you occasionally.
Okay.
Or if you can put it on speaker, that'd be fine too.
Here we go. Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, with him, I mean, he's been so supportive. And, with him being, he got moved up to sergeant. And that was a big to do. And that's boosted his confidence. And it's amazing. This whole brotherhood and sisterhood has given him so much confidence. And I want to say thank you to everybody, especially you, like Hector, Jay, I mean, everybody in Gator, all of his brothers and stuff like that. But those are the ones who all have been close to him, and Popeye and all them. But, I really appreciate it. Which brings me to my, other shout outs, Hector and Fran. There's so many things I can say about those two people. Hector does so many things for the autism community. And that hits home with me because our son is autistic. And, he struggles. And, it was amazing because last Smoky Mountain event, we got to meet them for the very first time. And with Diego, their son, that was a great thing because Diego and Dominic, they clicked so instantly. And Dominic and, Diego, even Fran and Hector had even said before that that's not ever Diego. He don't latch onto people that quick. But him and Dominic talked to each other like it was great. They understood each other. They didn't have to say anything really. They just understood. And Hector made Dominic feel so special, and and he was so proud of him for talking about stuff or how he was doing and checking in on him. And Fran was the same. It was those two people. They have really been like my major support system. And without them too, I don't know. I'm not going to cry, I promise. But but they're just they're really amazing. When I went through all my health problems, Fran was always there. Hector was always there checking in on Brent, as well as everybody else. But they're really good people. Fran is the unicorn and the whole unicorn squad thing. And we're all, we have a group online now, the unicorn group, and it's amazing now. Their drive, their determination to do good, to help people, it is amazing. And it, inspires everybody. And I just love them two so much. But my other two is Jay and, Sarissa. Even though we've never met, those two have really hit me like in the feels, like really good. Jay, with his story, he comes out and talks about it, and that's what we've been talking about. Starts that awkward conversation, and I'm proud of how he's grown. And just a short time I've known him, talked to him. It's really good. Everybody has their demons, their battles, whatever, whatnot. But I mean, to come out and talk about it is amazing. And for him to do what he's doing on a regular basis is incredible. And Charissa, she's always checking in on me. She's always messaging me, and she gives my word literally is a word that I'm sure she's probably laughing now. I'm probably, I can't see the comments, but my word literally is my slogan. I always say literally. I don't know why, but I do. It's just something instead of saying literally or legit, I just say literally all the time. And it's so funny because we can be in a chat talking about something random, and I'll just throw that in there, and everybody's just like, "Oh my God," But she's always been there checking on me and my family. It's just I just can't say enough about them. All those people on top of you and everybody else who's in my life. It's amazing. We do so much good every day. In the brotherhood and sisterhood, with the Bearded Villains, the Villanettes, and the Queens. It's amazing, and to hear about, all the money that was raised for Battle 22, that really did hit home because my dad is a Vietnam veteran. And, he still to this day is not okay. He struggles, but, that's something that, we deal with. But I think it's amazing. I mean, we all can, no matter what we're all going through, we can always, if somebody needs something right away or needs some help, we automatically jump right in and say, hey, who's close? Who can do what? Here's what we can do. And that's what it's about. I mean, and that's what drew me to, the Villanettes and, Bearded Villains and everybody else, I mean, it's amazing. I think, this year we're going to be doing great things. I mean, I know we do from the Villanette standpoint, we have a lot going to be going on. And it's going to be great. As well as, BVSI, we got they got the Polar Plunge coming up, and I'm excited about that one. So, it's amazing. I mean, this whole thing, I could go on and on about it. I don't want to because I'll take up so much time, but I just want to, I want to say that. I mean, you all are just amazing. I don't know what I'd do without all of y'all, honestly.
Kelly, I appreciate it. Very kind words, and I know everybody else that you've talked about shares the same sentiment. You're making puzzle, and you're making Jay cry online, that's great. But no, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it so much, and man, looking forward to seeing you down in Southern Indiana for the Polar Plunge, and just stay doing what you're doing, and we just got to stay looking on the bright side. So thanks so much for calling in, Kelly.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Guys, very cool stuff. Thanks, Kelly, for calling in. Yeah, that's what it's about, is just being there and supporting each other all the time. All the time. Had a comment here I wanted to readdress that came in. Rob gave us a nice little comment here. I just wanted to highlight. He says, I've worked with people who came home but never really came home. Cannot begin to imagine what it must be like to live in their shoes. So glad there are people out there who can help and understand. Very well said, Rob. I think we'll never, those of us who didn't serve, that weren't there, will never understand. We can try. We can do our best to try, but we will never understand. And but the best we can do is, like Chad said, We can be there when it matters. We can be there when they reach out, and we need to make sure that we're there when they reach out to let them know that for sure. If you are looking for an all-natural beard oil that will not only tame your beard and coarse hairs, but make your beard soft and smell amazing, check out Pulpo Beard Oils. Veteran-owned and made for today's beards, Pulpo beard products combine the best beard ingredients on the market with incredible customer service to ensure your happiness. Whether you need beard wash, beard oil, beard balm, or some fun clothing, Pulpo is the place to go. Feel fresh, feel savage, feel confident with Pulpo Beard Oils. Go to Pulpo Beard Oils, that's Pulpo beardoils.com, and use the code The Heart of a Villain for a discount on your order. Okay, guys, this is the fun time where we're going to roll into our calendar of events, and we actually have a few. We have a few calendar of event items to discuss today. The year is starting to open up, at least we're hoping for it to, so we're going to try and get some of these things on the calendar. Now, some of these events that I'm going to be talking about, we don't have specific dates yet, so it's kind of like a hold it and hold the date area, so you can just be aware to look out for a more confirmed date down the road. So let's get into that. February 27th, as Kelly mentioned, we've mentioned here before, if you're down in southern Indiana, anywhere nearby, Bearded Villains of Southern Indiana have their polar plunge. Hit up the Bearded Villains and down there in southern Indiana, see if you can help out. Or if you want to partake and go down there and plunge, jump in that water with them, it'll be a lot of fun. Looked like a lot of fun last year. The polar plunges are always good. February 27th for the BVSI Polar Plunge. We're going to jump all the way ahead into May. May 21st and 22nd. It was just announced that the DSV-5 is going to be held now in Ocean Springs, hosted by the South Mississippi chapter. DSV-5, May 21st and 22nd. Get that thing on your calendars, guys. It's always a good time down there. South Mississippi in Ocean Springs, DSV-5, May 21st and 22nd. Rolling into June 11th and 12th. 11th and 12th of June is the West Coast Meet. Now, we say West Coast, not really West Coast, but it's being held in Denver, Colorado. So when you think West Coast, don't think all the way over there. But it's apparently being held in Denver. Don't have a specific time frame or a location for that. But it's in Denver, West Coast Meet, June 11th and 12th. Also, June 12th is hosted by Smoky Mountain again, Knox Villains, the annual Knox Villains. You heard about it before. You know what amazing time it is. Knox Villains is going to be hosted by Smoky Mountain again in Knoxville the weekend of June 12th. Then I found out that September 2nd through the 6th is the Villain Cruise 5. It's a cruise, that's right. Villain Cruise 5, hosted by the Bearded Villains Finland and Sweden chapters. It's over in Barcelona, Spain, so not so close to us here in the States. But hey, if you want to go, go. Sounds like a great time. A villain cruise? Get out of here. That'd be awesome. A cruise with villains? Sign me up. September 2nd through the 6th. Villain Cruise 5. And then the last one I have on here is September 20th to the September of 2021. Down in September 2021 is the Four Corners Meet that's hosted again by the Phoenix, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah chapters in Cortez, Colorado. In the Cortez, Colorado area. That's a camp out just for brothers, for brothers, by brothers, to be brothers. September of 2021. That's the Four Corners Meet. Guys, that's what I've got on the tap right now. If you have something that was not listed and you already know about it, and you got a date, or even if you don't have a full date, even if you have just kind of an approximation, a month, it's going to be in the fall or something like that, let us know. We are just itching. We're itching for BV events. And so we want to make sure that we give everybody ample opportunity to reach out to their schedules if they're working and make sure we can make some sort of reparations to get there. So we need to prepare. It's going to be a rough year schedule-wise because since everything else went off the board pretty much last year, we're going to be just scouring the country, scouring the world to go to BV events all over the place. So just keep your eyes out. And like I said, if you've got anything else on the calendar, let me know. The World Meet tentatively is still in August in Chicago, Illinois, in the U.S., but we don't have any further dates or information on that yet. Everything's still so tentative in that Chicago area right now. So that is still scheduled tentatively in the first part of August, I believe, in Chicago. But we'll take that for what it's worth. So, guys, you know what? I hate to say it, but really don't. We've had a great episode. This is going to wrap it up, though. Such a very good episode. We had a lot of good conversation there. That's it, man. That's episode 66. 66 of The Heart of a Villain. Remember, you can still buy shirts, patches, pins at that website, theheartofavillain.simplecast.com. Theheartofavillain.simplecast.com is where you can get all the good stuff. Shirts, patches, pins, poker chips, all that fun stuff. And you can also listen to any one of the other 65 podcast episodes there at theheartofavillain.simplecast.com. Remember, I want to challenge all of you guys, as I always say, to be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. Finally, guys, as I always say, remember, we say it all the time, it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. So with that, guys, I'll say, have a great weekend. Enjoy that week ahead. Take care and stay safe.
Stateside across ponds, no borders. I am my brothers, keep your facial features covered, stay feeling one.